Being the dreamer. So what does being the dreamer mean? Well, it's not bad to be a dreamer. You can dream about stuff, you can think about stuff, you can imagine stuff. It's only bad when you stay in that mode. You stay thinking and you stay in a dream. You think about it so much that you're just thinking and thinking, and you're thinking that you're making progression because, oh yeah, I'm planning it out, it looks perfect, it's gonna come out perfect. But then you don't end up taking the action to actually go and do it. So when you do stuff like that, what does that say about yourself, you know? Like, what does that say? It just means that you're not taking the action that you really need to take. And when you're not taking action, this leaves you stagnant. You don't know what you're doing at all. See, imagining is good. Thinking about this stuff is good. But it's just in the way you use it. Because even your mind could be destructive to yourself. And that's why you have to pay attention to it. You have to see what it is that you think about yourself and what you don't think about yourself. You have to see yourself in a positive light. Because if you don't see yourself in a positive light, you're going to end up messing up. And that's just how it is. You're going to fall into the darkness and you're going to stay in that darkness. You just stay there. And it's like you lose yourself and you don't even know where to go from there. So that's why you got to be imagining. You have to be thinking about stuff. You have to put things together. But you also have to act on them. Because if you don't act on them, you're just falling to the ground. You're falling apart. And that's just the truth. That's just the truth. Now, when you don't have an image, you're running from something. You're running away from something. This could also be an issue. You don't have goals that you're aligned to. You don't have a vision of where you're going. When you don't have a vision of where you're going, that just means you're scattered minded. I think we talked about this in a previous video. You're scattered minded. You don't know where you're going. When you have things planned out, when you have things imagined, when you have things that could set you into motion, then it's gonna be easier for you. But you're just thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking. Well, you stay thinking. You don't do anything about it. You just stay there. You stay in your mind and it doesn't get put into use. And that's unfortunate because a lot of people, they plan, and they don't go anywhere with it. There's so many dreams and aspirations and they can get to places. But they just don't do it. And yes, you get tired along the way. You get tired and you don't want to do anything. And you're like, oh my goodness, it's too much. But if you're not doing anything, then what are you really doing? Do you feel like you deserve to sit down and relax? Do you feel like just because you're tired, you're doing, like, you have time to rest? I mean, yes, if you're putting in a bunch of work and you actually need rest, then you do rest. But if you're just lazy and you just don't want to do anything, that's different. Just say that. Just say that blatantly. That you don't want to do anything. You have to have goals. Because if you don't have those goals, you have nowhere to look towards. That's why having an image is better for you. Having an image of what to do is better. The way I started writing about stuff and putting things together is because I imagined in myself, okay, this is how I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna plan this out. I'm gonna plan this out. Like, for instance, if I was cooking food, okay, well, what do I even want to cook? What do I want to cook to begin with? You figure it out. You're like, okay, I found out what I want to do. I want to cook this. Okay, how do I get there? There's steps to it. So you have to imagine those steps. You have to imagine yourself getting to that spot. It's not all gonna happen by itself. I mean, you have to get there somehow. You don't do anything at all. It's like, where are you going? Where are you going? You know, having these images about yourself, having images about yourself makes a difference, because like I said, if you think negative, then you're gonna put yourself in a negative mindset. But if you also think that you can't do something, then you really can't do it, because you're telling yourself that you can't do it. So why are you gonna do it? You can't do it. And that's you putting yourself down. You're already failing from the beginning because you're saying that you can't do it. See, I recently was like, well, I don't got leadership skills. I gotta work on that. I've done it before, so it's like, why can't I do it again? Why do I limit myself to that? I shouldn't be limiting myself. It's just, all it really is, it's you making yourself a better person each and every day. I wanted to see it in a right way. So I was always told to do the right thing. So I would go and do the right thing. I would hear stuff and I would be like, okay, this doesn't sound right. I'm not gonna go and do that. This sounds right. I'm gonna go and do that. Which is why I was led to reading the Bible. I'm not gonna make it a Bible preach, but I do live my life based off the Bible, and that's where I get a lot of my lessons and where I learn. And yeah, I do get guided. That is my guide. But that's how you remember who you are. Like, you just think about yourself and you're like, okay, I'm not this, or I am this. Once you say I am this, it's already starting. You just need to show that. You just need to show it. You need to prove that you are that. And like I said, with me, it was just about doing the right thing. Doing the right thing, to me, it always felt good, which is why I did it. Now, other people might have different reasons, and that's their prerogative, but me, I always like to do the right thing. Why? Because it's done nothing but good for me. Like, I never wanted to do anything bad. So everything that I like to do it the right way. I like to achieve the right way. I like to get there step by step, learn every lesson, so like that there's no imperfections in there. I don't like having imperfections. That's why I'm always learning, and I always like doing stuff. I always like to explore and expand myself, expand my mind, because it makes a difference on who you are. It shows who you are. Now, the way it happened with me is I always liked moving around. I'm a jumpy person. I move all over the place. I move all over the place. It's just who I am. And when you are jumpy all the time, it makes you want to do more stuff of the sort. So with me, it was the gym. I was always into sports, and eventually I got into the gym and I started pushing harder and harder, and then I'm like, okay, well, I want to learn about my body, I want to learn about my health. And it started to keep going. It started to go and go. It was like a snowball effect. The gym started that snowball effect. And it kept going and it kept going. I kept improving. I kept trying to do this and I kept trying to do that. It was like it was expanding me. It made me think a whole lot different than how I used to think. And I do have to give praises to the Most High for that. I do have to give praises to the Most High for that. I'm not saying that it's easy to act upon these things, because I, from personal experience, know that it can be difficult. I know that your thoughts get to you, or sometimes you lose that battle, and we're not perfect. We are not perfect, so sometimes those things will get to us. But all we have to do is try each and every day to get to that spot. We have to try each and every day, because if we don't, we end up falling down, and we stay in that spot, in that stagnant spot, that imagining spot, that spot where you can't do it no more. You don't want to be there. You want to be up here. You don't want to be down here. You want to be up here. make sure you're making improvements within yourself. Because when you make improvements within yourself, it shows your character, it shows who you are, it shows why you want to be so determined, and why it is that you deserve these things. And sometimes things are just not going to be given to you, and that's completely okay. I mean, you don't have to have it given to you. Just because you're putting in the work doesn't mean you're going to get the reward, you know? So you just keep pushing, and you keep pushing, and you keep pushing towards that dream, towards that goal, towards what you want to do. Because if you're not doing what you want to do, then what are you doing? So let that sit in for a bit. You know, I want to ask you guys, what is it that drives you guys to do what you guys want to do? Or what do you guys want to do? What is your dream? What is your goal? Who are you going to be in a couple months? In a couple months. Let's say 3 months from now. Who are you going to be? Think about that. Let that sit in your head. You already know. This is your boy, Zoe, The Flow, signing off.